Hey, Mr. Jamal. I got a question for you. It's getting cold outside. Is this rat season now? Is this the time when the rats are gonna come into my house or the mice are gonna come into my house?
Well, climate change has a lot to say about when it's cold these days, but that's a separate issue. I get that question often, or even customers will come in and tell me, oh, it's rat season now. The rats are coming out. I need this and I need that. And then I feel like they forget that they said the same thing in May. And then they said the same thing in August or whatever. Point being, there is no rat season in this city, as we make bountiful habitat for them here, be it with the old buildings or trash strewn about throughout. Sanitation is a lot better than it was when I was growing up here in the 70s and 80s. Don't date me, people. But yeah, this is a glorious habitat for rats in New York City.
So the cold weather doesn't really affect.
No, the only thing with the cold weather is that they may be more inclined to look for shelter that's warmer. But again, rats tend to burrow, so they can find that warmth in the ground depending on how severe our winters are.
So it's rats tend to burrow. So what about mice? Are they gonna come inside when it's colder?
Mice are already inside, I like to tell people. I would challenge anyone to tell me when they've ever seen a mouse outside in the confines of New York City.
Almost never.
You see rats almost every day. Have you ever seen a mouse? Should you not know the difference between the two rodents? But mice are already inside. They exist within these structures in these buildings. You may kill them off at a time, but because of the pathways in between these old buildings, and we live pretty much stuck and glued together on top of each other, they've already been there, and they're there just within moving in well after you move in. I always tell people, what's the remedy for that? I'm like, well, you might want to move into one of these new buildings that they're dropping out of the sky, because at least for a while, they've already cleared the grounds, the rodents have scattered, and it may take a while before they're able to venture their way back to, say, a new structure.
Now, you just mentioned that, and you've also mentioned in the past that, those new structures, this causes the rats to come out of the ground, which is causing a lot of problems. If people have a lot of rats around their building, I've seen you have what can they get for if they have rats around?
Well, unfortunately we're kind of limited in what you can do in regards to rodent abatement. But other than bait stations, because you can't really put poison out in the open. Should you have burrows on your property, you should hire a professional to treat the burrows.
Oh, so you guys have to do it. So I can't just put rat poison outside just anywhere.
No.
See, I didn't even know that.
No. Most people don't know, and oftentimes when people encounter a rodent situation on their property, the only thing they want to do is get rid of it now. They want a quick fix almost always. And oftentimes I have to break their heart and tell them this is going to be a process. A lot of it may have to do with structural stuff, landscaping, and a lot of it is even beyond your control. If you're next door to that vacant lot that's been a trash bin for years, is what can you do about that? And you just live adjacent to it. That's a lot of the problem in New York. We're adjacent to a lot of this stuff, and just by virtue of existing here, we're going to be affected.
What about mice? So if I got mice in my building and stuff, you can help with that, right?
Yeah, we can do our best to kind of mice-proof your place and also offer you an assessment as to things that you can do to better help yourself. I say this a lot. I found myself telling customers, clients, even just yesterday, I was speaking to some clients, and actually not with the intent of talking them out of buying poison, but I essentially did, because I stressed the importance of all the other things. So, for instance, they wanted to know what's the best poison to buy. Which one's the strongest? Which one's going to kill them? Hey, Italians eat Italian food. Jamaicans eat Jamaican food. You never know what the rat is going to take to until you give them to them. And then also, just because they're thinking mammals, much like you are. Just because you put it down does not mean that they will eat it, particularly if they have better sources of food. If they can get pizza out of the trash can right next to it, or you left wrappers and food and open trash, what's the attraction to the poison? Why is that so great?
All right, awesome. And finally, all of your experience, which one tastes better, rats or mice?